Hey everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today. Nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level, and to get with alkalinity, then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You're now tuning in to great days. So today or this morning, I'm gonna go over a little on spiritual awakening and maybe the journey of spiritual awakening, okay, and like what to kind of be able to expect, or not be able to expect purely, but more so what spiritual awakening involves, and what kind of triggers spiritual awakening as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. Spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening can come from a lot of things. Okay, it can come from personally for me. It came from a lot of my spiritual awakenings came from meditation. Okay, also a lot of my awakening came from psychedelic use as well. So I have like different sources of I want to say awakening and expanding my awareness, because this is what spiritual awakening involves. It involves expansion of awareness, and as you start expanding your awareness into deeper and deeper or higher and higher dimensions of existence, um, eventually you're gonna come to awaken spiritually, okay, on a whole nother level. um, and then you can obviously keep going with it, like it never really ends, um, because there's, I want to say, an infinite amount of dimensions, but it doesn't just involve dimensions. It can be dimensionless as well. You can dive into this, and this can be part of spiritual awakening as well. But I want to say that a lot of it has to do with expansion of awareness, right? And this is a fact. So spiritual awakening, it involves a rise of energy as well. So it's like it can come from a rise in energy. It can come from meditation. It can come from spiritual practitioner. It can come from psychedelic use, or it can come completely naturally. You know, during this time, there is the global awakening. There is the rise in the Earth's Kundalini energy, and naturally everybody is coming to an awakening, and it's becoming a big thing. It's like during this phase of and we can use the precession of the equinoxes for a type of cycling. During this specific phase, the Earth goes through a rise in energy, okay, and due to the Earth going through a rise in energy, the inhabitants, or us as peoples, we're also rising in our energy levels, and this is naturally resulting in a global awakening. Okay, we're starting to ascend. We're starting to transcend the physical body, and we're starting to come into a more spiritual existence. Okay, um, now, spiritual awakening, like I said, it can happen from many different things, but most of the time it may just happen naturally. You know, people may just start waking up out of nowhere, um, and they may not even be doing anything that involves like a extreme and rapid expansion of awareness, but this is normally what triggers it. When you start to expand your awareness as much as you can, you know. And personally, for me, I started off with psychedelic usage. You know, this is expanding your awareness. These substances are known to expand awareness. Psilocybin mushrooms, um, even marijuana or just weed, it can bring you to a spiritual awakening. You know, LSD, obviously, and plenty other psychedelics. Okay, they can all bring a spiritual awakening, and for most people, it'll be like this. It'll be that you can use psychedelics, but for people who don't use substances, um, you can always use spiritual practitioner. Meditation is something that I have been using to further my awakening and go deeper. And it's proved pretty promising. It's proved very, very progressive, you know. But obviously, it's all about, I don't know, because it kind of starts like when awakening first starts for an individual, it's like it gets a hold of you. You don't actually consciously induce an awakening. It's like you come into awakening, and then in going deeper into awakening, you can learn how to make it more conscious. You can learn how to have more awakenings, uh, more consciously. You know, like you can start directing it, I want to say, or going deeper into it, or staying more subtle about it. It's however you want to take it, you know. um, so I guess it's like a unique process for everybody, and everybody is going to come to an awakening in a unique way, but and everybody's awakening is going to be different, but it's like you can come into the same spaces or the same dimensions once you start awakening, you know. And this is where we start to dissolve away the ego more often. We start living as one organism. We start living as inseparable from each other, and this is a space or realization that you actually are going to have once you start coming into awakening. And then you can also start understanding from these higher spaces, and you start getting a lot of remembrance, and you start having all these familiarities. You start going through these types of experiences of being here before, and then you start intuitively remembering things that you have previously experienced, and then you start meeting people from past lives, and then you start entangling once again with each other on this deep, intimate level, um, and then it just starts all unfolding once again. Like this is what happens with awakening. You know, it's a like space. It's a same space for everybody who is going through the awakening, and everybody has their awakening, even if it's not in this lifetime. And I spoke about this in one of my previous videos. Everybody has an awakening, you know, even if it's not in this lifetime specifically. You are going to experience an awakening. That's just the truth, okay? But I do know during this life there is a lot of awakening taking place on the globe, okay? And due to this, we can see that more and more people are going to be able to have the experience of spiritual awakening, you know. um, I want to say meditation is a very, very good way to pretty much come into awakening. It's a slower method, all right. And Westerners, I want to say, are very, very fixated on a fast-paced life, you know. So I want to say Westerners are more common for using psychedelics for awakening because we're more fast paced, like we're in this type of mode. We're not really too slow paced with it. So this is why you see a lot of people often turn towards psychedelics for a type of expansion of awareness and spiritual awakening, instead of just going through meditation or even yoga, doing things like this, you know, um, because these spiritual practitioners are more of a slower pace, but they get you there. They do most definitely get you there, and they're a lot more disciplining as well, in comparison to psychedelic usage. But there's not only these methods. Like I said, it can come naturally with a rise of energy. You can be walking on the street one day and you can literally just have a spiritual awakening, so it comes completely naturally and unexpected, and it's all about spontaneity as well. So each and every person has their own unique way of doing it, but um, there's many methods to do it. Okay, and oftentimes you don't choose because you don't actually exist. Your choice is just an illusion, cast by the ego, because the ego, it kind of casts that illusion of choice. Like, I have a choice in this. I choose to do this, or I choose not to do this. But that's an illusion, because you as an individual don't really exist. um, it's more of like just a field of energy, and because this is the truth of it. It's it's not something that you actually choose, or how you choose to do it, but more so it's just like a happening. um, Obviously at times you're gonna be very, very, like, you're gonna convince yourself very, very strongly that there is a choice in this, and that you are choosing, and that you are able to make your choice, and navigate it in that way. But I want to say that's illusion. you know it can be different for everybody, though. Like I said, um, even if you see it as a choice that you have, it doesn't really affect the outcome of it, or the direction of it. What happens is going to continue happening anyway. And some people go through psychedelics. Some people use a spiritual practitioner. It happens naturally to some other people. But what it involves is an expansion of awareness, most definitely. And with this expansion of awareness, eventually you come to awakening. It's like a second birth, I want to say. um, you go through this second birth. It's not a physical birth, though. It's like you're born physically out of the womb, and spiritual awakening is a second birth. It's being born again after you've already been physically born. You're born spiritually. You're born as a soul. You awaken to yourself as a spiritual being, or a soul. And this is the side of us, or this is the center of us that is eternal. It's immortal in its nature. And this is the part of us that has experienced multiple lives, many, 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 many times over, because it's eternal. It's in its nature, and it can reincarnate into body after body, so it's that type of thing. It's like, once you awaken to being this being of multidimensionality, um, you can start remembering a lot more of what you've experienced, throughout the journey of your soul. And it's only doing it for expansion of consciousness. Like, the only reason the soul chooses to reincarnate into body, or it chooses to go to specific star systems, or it does what it does. It's all for expansion of consciousness. Like the whole universe is doing this. It's all just an expanding of one's awareness, and this is the whole thing about it. Like this is the reason. It's the soul is doing what it's doing. The spirit or us, we're doing what we're doing because we're all just working towards a higher awareness. Because this is what it all is. It's all just light. It's all energy. It's all awareness. Okay, it's all electromagnetism. Um, Very hip way of seeing it. Electromagnetism. Um, Conscious energy is what electromagnetism is. It's just conscious energy, which is consciousness. Okay. Um, but spiritual awakening, there's a rise in spiritual awakening because the earth is rising in its energy, and as people are rising in energy, naturally what results is an expansion of awareness, because awareness and energy are one and the same. They're simultaneous. As your energy rises, your consciousness arises along with it. And once this happens, you're able to become aware and realize that you're a multidimensional being, or you're a spiritual being. Once again, having a human experience, very, very temporary, third dimensional experience within a multidimensional existence, you know. Uh, and and it's different for everybody. Once again, it's going to be a unique process for everybody, and everybody's going to have a unique spiritual awakening and a unique experience. But there's like spaces that we can come into and understand each other from, you know. There's a lot of the same that we've existed together and experienced with each other, you know. So once you have a spiritual awakening, you can correspond to people on multiple dimensions, because you've been able to experience from those dimensions, and those people also have some sort of understanding about these dimensions as well. So you both have this multi-dimensional understanding of it, and you can come into some sort of like uh, existence together. You know, it's a very, very beautiful thing. And everybody has their own at some point in their life, or yeah, at some point in their life, even if it's not in this individual life, you do have a spiritual awakening, or you do get to have one within another life, you know. And life, or physical existence, it's very, 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 very fast, you know. It's just a flash of light. Like, even if it seems that a specific period of your life is very, very dragged out and it's going very slow, still one life, one individual third dimensional experience is just a flash of light, you know. So once you pretty much shed this body, it's your soul decides if it wants to reincarnate once again into another physical body, or it decides to be bodiless, you know, or just a roaming mind following some type of karmic path, you know, which will usually have it reincarnating into a physical body. So the physical existence is just, it's just I want to say flashes of light, you know. And this is the truth. It's like once you shed the body, you can wake up as another infant, ready to start living again in a very, very dreamlike state, you know. And then it'll just happen. It'll just keep happening. It'll just keep happening again and again. um, and and it's like once you have spiritual awakening in an individual life, there's a higher chance to remember that you're going to in your next reincarnation, there's a higher chance that you're going to remember who you were in the last life, or you're going to be a little bit more aware of the multidimensionality of your true being more than you were in lives where you didn't not yet have your spiritual awakening. You know, it's like once you're enlightened in an individual life, after that, if you continue to choose to reincarnate, you're gonna continue to be more and more enlightened. You know, you're going to choose to be more and more spiritually awake because you've been previously having these awakenings, you know, in your past lives. Um, and then it just kind of continues until you're able to not reincarnate into the physical anymore. You know, like you'll just keep using physical existence until you're able to gain enough knowledge to be able to transcend physical incarnation in totality. You know, so it's like what this is, physical experience is just it's a schooling, it's a type of learning, and it's a type of self-mastery that we're all going through, to the point where we're able to just transcend the physical body incomplete, you know, to where we don't have to use it anymore as a device, and more so we're able to just purely exist on higher dimensions and be able to then exist on these higher dimensions for self-mastery in these dimensions, and that's expanding your awareness in multiple dimension, you know, which is what it's all about. And then it goes deeper, but I'm not gonna make the video too long, so I'm actually just gonna end it right there. That was a little bit on spiritual awakening though. Okay, if you want to comment down anything about your current spiritual awakening, go ahead and do so, and I'll most definitely get to it and have a conversation with you about it. You know, it's always fun to pretty much have some conversations about spirituality, you know, but make sure to subscribe to the channel and support the daily content. Also drop a like on today's video if you did enjoy the information on awakening. Okay, peace out though, one love, and have a great morning.